Hi, Kissa here with another video. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm so glad you're here. It is the end of 2018. We're in December and I can't believe I'm here talking about goal setting for 2019. Oh my gosh, I just can't believe it. What the heck? But here I am. So let's get into the video. Today we're going into Evernote, and if you haven't watched any of my videos before, I use Evernote for three main things. One is to keep notes in place, a place where I can just kind of dump my thoughts, keep login information, that type of thing. Second is for travel planning. I love to use Evernote to plan out travel, especially long international trips or week-long trips where an itinerary is necessary. And three is for long-term goals, aka yearly goals. So in this video, I'm going to share my personal and professional goals for 2019 and how I use Evernote to keep it kind of all organized. So let's get into the video. Here's my Evernote account. But first things first, before we start goal setting, we need to figure out what we want. So I just want to make sure I put it out there. Giving yourself time to think about what you want is really important before you start trying to make an action plan or implement anything. If you want some tips on preparing for your goals, I created a podcast episode over at the Entrepreneur Life podcast. It's episode number 18 called Goal Setting for 2019, Giving Up and Being MIA. That's the episode you want to listen to. I highly recommend listening to it before you start goal setting, and I'll leave a link to that episode in the description below. So here, like I said, is my Evernote account. I've archived my notes. As you can see, I have an archive section here. I do this every year so that all my notebooks are all cleaned out, and my upcoming notebook for 2019 is only going to have relevant notes. But I also don't delete any notes. Just in case I need to reference them in the future, I can go ahead and go up to the top search bar and search for them, and if I archive them versus throw them away or put them in the trash, they are searchable. So before we move on, I'm really excited to share my word for 2019. What I really want is actually a reset. Many different aspects of my life are in need of some deep cleaning and purging. Things like debt and finances, material things, ideas that I don't have time for anymore, that type of thing. And I'm really excited to let go of a lot of things that are just keeping me away from my priorities, beliefs, and being my best self. So that being said, my word for 2019 is minimal. And as you can see, I put the keyword right in the title, right next to the word goals. And I just want to make sure that no matter what I do, because your goals are going to be fluid throughout the year, I want to make sure that it always goes back to being minimal. And I talk about minimal not in a negative sense. It's just because over time, I think that I tend to pack on too much. I spread myself too thin. I try to do too much. And this year, I really just want to hone in and focus on things and do them really well. It's all gonna revolve around the word minimal. Now that I know my word for 2019, I'm excited to set goals based on that theme and do all my brainstorming. So I've been doing my brain dump for the past few days that I mentioned in my podcast, and now I feel like I'm ready to kind of share the things that I've put together based on the things that I've been listing down in my brain dumps and the things that I see as recurring patterns. I've decided to update my setup a little bit based on what I've observed over the past few years about my work habits, how I search and use the platform, that type of thing. So the things I'm keeping for my 2019 goals notebook is my goals page, my inbox, and then after that I just really simplified the rest of it. So you can see that now I have a personal section, I have work that has all my business stuff, I have household, and then I have archive. So these are the only things that are going to be on my radar, and everything has to fit within these notebooks if I'm going to be working on it this year. Now that we have the structure of our notebook set up, we can start goal setting. So if I go into my 2019 goals, as you can see, I've created 3 different notes. I have personal, I have work, and I have household. These 3 notes coincide with my personal notebook stack on the left, my work notebook stack, and my household stack. So my personal goals are to grow in faith, to live a healthier lifestyle, make more time for self-care. Those are the 3 main things that I want to accomplish this year. Now for work, my goal is to create a consistent schedule so I can avoid burnout. For our restaurant, I want to diversify sales streams. I want to improve customer experience. I want to invest in employee growth, and I want to update our marketing plan. And for my new brand, Just Kissa, I want to grow my coaching business, grow my YouTube channel, create a content schedule, and create a schedule for the year for the Entrepreneur Life podcast. So a few updates on this while we're here. I just had an Entrepreneur Day retreat with my accountability partner, Heather, and we're talking about what our strategy is and what we want out of next year. And this helped me to really hone in on this section, which is why I'm going to reinforce this again. I can't recommend enough a mentor or an accountability partner, someone that you can just run ideas by, that cares about your success and cares about your future. That is so, so important. It needs to be someone that gets you. And then on top of that, the brain dumping and really brainstorming and giving yourself time to think about what you want to accomplish. It's really hard to make these decisions. So you need to give yourself ample time to think about it, because you're going to be focusing on very specific things for the next 52 weeks or the next few years. And you want to make sure that always coincides with what your goals are, not just professionally, but personally. Because as an entrepreneur, your personal and professional life are going to kind of coincide and intertwine all the time. So for me, balancing goal number 1 and goal number 2 is really, really important, because at the end of the day, the whole reason why I became an entrepreneur is because of 2 reasons. 1, I'm really passionate about something, and 2, I want to be able to create the life that I want to live. If that wasn't what I wanted, then I could go out there and do anything else. But I have chosen this path because of those 2 main criteria. And number 3 is household. These are goals I have not just for myself, but for Charlie and I, for, I guess, marriage goals and couple goals, things that we have talked about as a couple and want to accomplish. For example, finances. We want to pay off credit card debt. That's going to take a group effort. It's going to be both of us working toward that goal. Home improvement. We want to complete 1 major house project this year, and travel, take an international trip. So these are things that we have talked about that we want to do together. And I think that it's really easy for me to just dump that into a personal goal, but I like the idea of collaborating with my husband on this and working toward it together. And this is something that I can share with him, and also have my own personal goals and let them be my own, let them be mine, and things that are private to me and that I don't have to share if I don't want to with anybody. As you can see, these notes that I created for personal, work, and household coincide with these notebook stacks on the left. So with each goal that I have a coinciding notebook. So here's my faith notebook, because that was one of my goals. Live a healthier lifestyle. Here's one for that. And then self-care. So anything that I might come across that I want to keep and save for later, or things that I want to keep track of are going to go in here. So for example, if I have a Bible study that I want to start, or a devotional, or a prayer log, or sermon notes, those are going to go in here. That way I can look back and reflect on them. If I have, for example, my stats report, if I click on this, this is a great place for me to check in, to keep track on my progress when it comes to my health. And then same with a workout plan. What I'm planning to do here is to create a plan with my workout buddy, and we're going to put together a workout for the entire month. We're going to put it in here so that we can keep track of what our stats were. So if we're lifting a certain amount of weight, we can list that down so that after maybe a few workouts or a few weeks or maybe the following month, we can try and push ourselves a little bit more. So this is a way that I'm planning to keep track of things. And same thing goes with self-care. So if I see any self-care ideas that I want to try, like a good book that I might want to read in the future, or an essential oil recipe that I come across, or a face mask that might be interesting that I found on YouTube or something like that. These are areas where I can put them in. That way, when I'm ready to reference them, they're there for me. Now, work is set up a little bit differently in the sense that each business or each venture has its own section. So for example, Just Kissa, this is going to be my table of contents where I have my goals because I want them to always be in the forefront. And then it's going to be broken down by year. So if I click on work, you'll see that it goes back to my work goals that I set for the entire year of 2019. That way it's really easily accessible. And I put this link to that note in every single page. So this 02 work link is here in the Just Kissa stack, it's here in the Ninong stack, and it's here in other. And each table of contents is going to be organized in its own way with just kind of a common theme. So for example, you'll see that I have my goals because that's always going to be at the top, and then I have what I want to work on this week, and then other. This is going to be a place where I can put rate sheets, things that I need to easily reference, like my password list or my blog posts that I saved or articles that I want to read in the future, maybe a template, that type of thing. That's all going to go in other. And I set this up for all 3 notebooks. So this is the one that I have for Just Kissa. This is the one that I have for Ninong's. As you can see, this one's a little more filled out because Ninong's has so many things going on at once. And then this one is for other. I put other here because, let's be real, I'm an entrepreneur. I do a lot of side projects. I do a lot of side ventures on top of the 2 main things that I focus on. And I just want to make sure that I have a space for that ready, so that if I do take on any projects or any other ventures, it has space in my Evernote account. But going back to the whole theme, which is minimal, I just want to focus and grow these 2 things. All the seeds that I'm planting are going to be planted in Just Kissa and for Ninong's. Those are the only 2 that I am going to be focusing on in 2019. Now, collapsing this, I'm going to open up my household notebook, and as I mentioned, paying off credit card debt is one of our household goals for this year. And then we have household things. This is things like payment plans or spring cleaning things. And then this is for travel. So in this area, you'll see I've already created a note. My friends and I are going to Big Bear in January, so I created a note for that just to prepare. I also have things like my packing list template. This is just everything I can possibly think of that I might need. That way when I'm packing, I don't forget anything as much as possible. And when I do have a trip, I'll just right click this, I'll duplicate the note, and then I'll do something like Kissa's packing list for Big Bear. And then from there, I will right click, I'll copy the note link, and then I'll put it in my table of contents. So if I go here, I'll hit enter and then move it in and then paste. That way I have it ready to go when I'm going to be packing for that trip. I love using Evernote for travel planning. I can't say enough good things about it. You can also watch that video if you are going on a trip and need a good travel planning video to kind of just watch because you have itineraries or things that you need to keep track of. Definitely check out that video. I will leave it in the description below. So that's basically it for Evernote. From here, I basically take these general goals, these yearly goals, and implement them into my monthly, weekly, and daily routine by revisiting this goal page every single month. So if you visit this at the beginning of every month or at the end of the month so that you're preparing for the next, it helps you stay focused on achieving what you wanted to or what you set out to do at the very beginning of the year. So from here, I can create a plan to keep me on track for the upcoming month. And as the month draws to an end, I can also evaluate whether I'm a step closer to accomplishing those goals or not. So stay tuned for my next video. It's going to be my plan with me for January 2019. It'll be a great follow-up to this video to see how I take my yearly goals that I put into Evernote and then start breaking them down into monthly, weekly, and daily tasks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, I wish you a very happy holiday and a wonderful and prosperous 2019. I am so excited to start this year really strong with you guys. Share in the comments below what your goals are for 2019 and let's keep each other accountable. Till the next video, I'll see you soon. Bye!